You were never wanted. You were only tolerated. There was a man who spent his whole life mistaking politeness for love, and by the time he learned the difference, the room had already moved on without him. His name was George. George was the man who always said yes. When the group planned dinner, he was the last one asked, and he never once noticed he was last. He just felt lucky to be asked at all. He would drive an hour to sit at a table where no one saved him a seat. He would arrive early to help set up and stay late to help clean, and he called that friendship. The others called it convenient. George had a habit of giving before anyone had to ask. Someone needed a ride, and George was already reaching for his keys. Someone was short on money, and George quietly covered the check. Someone needed a favor at midnight, and George picked up on the first ring. He thought this was how you earned a place at the table. He did not know you cannot earn what people do not want to give. Little slights piled up, and George swallowed everyone. They made plans in front of him and forgot to include him. They laughed at jokes he wasn't in on, then patted his shoulder like an afterthought. When he spoke, they waited politely for him to finish, then picked up the conversation as if he hadn't. And George told himself he was imagining it. He told himself these were good people, and good people don't leave you out on purpose. So he bent a little more. He softened his opinions so no one would bristle. He hid the things he needed so no one would feel burdened. He became so easy to have around that he almost disappeared, and he thought disappearing was the same as belonging. And every time he shrank, they took a little more. They started handing him the tab without asking. They started calling only when they needed something, and George mistook the ringing phone for closeness. He kept score of every kindness he gave. Sure, it was building towards something. It was building toward nothing, but he could not see that yet. Then came the birthday. It was his 40th, and George didn't throw a party because he was sure his friends would. They were his family after all. That was the word he used in his own head, family. The day came and his phone buzzed twice. 2 messages, both short, both late. The people he had driven for, paid for, waited for, forgot the day he was born. And George laughed it off because that is what a tolerated man learns to do. He told himself everyone was just busy. He told himself it didn't mean anything. But something small and cold had settled in his chest, and it would not leave. So one week, quietly, George stopped showing up. He didn't announce it. He didn't send an angry message. He just stopped answering first. He stopped offering the ride, stopped covering the check, stopped filling every silence they left for him. He waited to see who would come looking. He kept his phone close, checking it far too often, hating himself a little for the hope. A day passed, then a week, then a month. No one called. No one texted to ask where he'd gone. The dinners went on without him. The plans were made without him. And the empty seat he used to fill was simply filled by no one because it had never really been his. And that was the moment George finally understood. The warmth he had felt for years was never warmth. It was manners. They were never glad he was there. They were only never bothered enough to make him leave. He wasn't chosen, he was allowed. He was the coat left on the chair that nobody wants, but nobody moves, until one day it's gone and no one remembers it was there. Here's the truth George paid 20 years to learn. Schopenhauer said it plainly. Men tolerate what costs them nothing, and they throw away anything that asks something of them. To be endured is not to be valued. The people who kept George around did not keep him because they loved him. They kept him because he was free. He gave, and giving cost them nothing, so they let him give. The day he stopped being useful, and a useful man who stops being useful is simply gone. That is the cold arithmetic of the table you were never really invited to. Now hear this, because it is about you. You already know the room in your life where you are only tolerated. You feel it every time you are the one who reaches out first. You feel it in the invitations that come last, in the plans made just out of your reach, in the way you shrink yourself to keep a seat that was never yours. Stop calling that love. It is not love. Love does not need you to earn it with rides and money and silence. Love notices when you're gone. If you can vanish from a room and no one comes looking, you were furniture, not family. And no amount of bending will turn a chair into a person they choose. So stop bending. Stop overgiving to people who only take. Stop mistaking their patience for their affection, because patience is what people spend on things they don't care enough to remove. Walk away from the tables where your absence changes nothing. Stop being the coat on the chair. Be a person who is missed or be gone. It will hurt, and the hurt will tell you something true. It will tell you that you finally stopped begging to be tolerated and started waiting to be wanted. The right people will notice the empty chair. The right people will come find you, and everyone else was only ever being polite. George learned it late, but he did learn it. He never again confused a room that allowed him with a room that wanted him. You do not have to learn it as slowly as he did. You can walk away today from every seat you had to earn, because a place you have to pay for with your dignity was never a place at all. This is Schopenhauer's truth.